Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Embrace Fertility podcast slash YouTube channel. Today, we have another fertility expert interviews. Each week for 4 weeks, I'm bringing you guest interviews to really open up the conversation around fertility support, fertility mindset, and what you can do to really support yourself while you are trying for a baby. Today, we have Simone from Feel Fully, and she is here to talk to us about fertility movement, fertility yoga. She's just qualified as a fertility coach. Would you like to tell us a little bit about you and what led you to where you are today?
Yeah. Hi, thanks for having me. Yeah, so I was trying to conceive and it was not going as planned, of course, and I was kind of burning out from my job as an elementary school teacher and was making the decision to leave that job. And I went to an amazing mind body fertility support group with Amira Posner here in Toronto. And it changed my life. And basically, I was like, this is amazing. I think maybe I want to like teach this. And I think I might want to be a facilitator. So already I was a yoga teacher and facilitating yoga retreats and kind of like self-connection retreats. And I ended up getting pregnant immediately after doing the mind body fertility 6-week program with her. And I had an early miscarriage 4 days before my last day of work. So, end of June, last few days of school, I was teaching grade 1, so 6 and 7-year-olds. And yeah, it was a life-changing experience. It was a very interesting experience for me because I realized how incredibly resilient I was. I felt like I had to continue going to work through my miscarriage because there were only 4 days of school left of the school year. And but it really, really showed me how my tools that I kind of had in my toolkit of yoga and meditation and being with myself and my emotions supported me to the extent that it surprised me that I was, that I was okay, and that I was like, even though it was painful and, emotionally a roller coaster, that I was like, oh, I have all of the tools I need to get through this, and I know that I'm going to be okay on the other side. So, yeah, that experience was huge for me. And so then I started looking up some programs for teaching yoga for miscarriage. And I found this program with Rosie Matheson, a yoga for fertility certification program online. And so I did that last year around this time. And it was so amazing. It really changed the way that I think about my body and the way that I use my body intuitively. It changed the way I teach yoga and definitely the way I practice yoga. And yeah, I just started sharing my yoga for fertility with some people. And I was going to people's houses and kind of doing yoga for fertility with them individually. And was realizing that it's kind of impossible to teach yoga for fertility without it turning into some kind of coaching, because you kind of have to hold space for where that person is at that time, and be with them. And so much of it was this conversation, and this, really talking about, like, okay, how can you build yourself up? How can you, really surround yourself with tools and resources so that you feel really resilient and empowered as you go through your fertility journey. And then, and then I did my fertility doula certification. So, it's been a really wonderful past couple years of transformation for me. I'm still on my fertility journey. We're still trying naturally, and yeah, I it's been a wonderful and up and down experience. But I feel like, especially the movement piece, um, when you feel like your body is betraying you, and when there's something wrong with you, it's this way to come back and be with yourself in this really self-compassionate way, and breathe and be like, okay, I'm okay right now. And if I'm okay right now, then I'm going to be okay the next minute and the next minute. And if every moment I'm okay, then I am going to be fine.
Oh, thank you so much for sharing your story. And it's just, I think, so powerful for people to hear other people's stories and to hear that you can be okay in the moment. It's not about getting you pregnant and then you'll be okay. It's about being okay now. And that's so beautiful that you were saying is after the miscarriage. I had the same. It's like I went through a miscarriage, and before having it, I'd always imagined that having a miscarriage after having infertility would be the worst thing ever, because you'd be like, yay, finally my dreams are coming true, and then it's all just taken away from you. But actually having these, like you say, these tools, these things that you fall back on, that you are like held by them so much. And so I think this is the power of it, and the power of you also doing this. I did the same. I started working with people while I was still going through it myself, and sometimes my family couldn't really understand. They were like, but you're still in it, you're still struggling. I was like, yeah, but our job isn't to tell people how to get pregnant. That isn't what a fertility coach does.
Yeah,
we're here. And I love that phrase, fertility doula, supporting you. Like, a doula doesn't give birth for the woman, she supports the woman
yeah,
give birth. And that is beautiful, that you support women on their journey to getting pregnant and then through pregnancy as well.
yes, exactly.
So talk to us a little bit about more about healing your relationship with your body. So totally relate. So many of my clients say that they just feel like their body is broken, and their body is their enemy. It's like something you're fighting against. And obviously that's the opposite of what we want, to be really stepping into feeling fully fertile. So talk to us about that.
Yeah. I mean, I really kind of realized the power of this as I was healing from my miscarriage. So it was like after I stopped bleeding heavily, which took about 9 days. Now it was the summer holidays, so I wasn't working. And I just I got back on my yoga mat, and I just sat there, and I like breathed, And I'd really just like listened in every moment and was like, what would feel good? So the first day, it was just like, rocking around a little bit, like little circles and breathing. And then, um, the next day, it was a little bit more movement. And the next day, it was, you know, just like some spine movement, some cat cow. And it was so incredibly intuitive. But I honestly felt like I had to like relearn how to use my body and relearn like what it wanted. And I think that fertility yoga can do that because it is a very intuitive practice. It's more of a like, what would feel nourishing to me at this point in my cycle today, considering how much energy I currently have and how my body's feeling. And so it's just like when we listen to our intuition to that extent, when we're like, okay, body, how do you want to move? What would feel good for you? Not like, how should I move? Or like, what should my workout look like today? But it's like, okay, I'm really listening. What's feeling sore? What needs to be stretched right now? Um, yeah. And then also getting back in touch with that whole area, the whole pelvic region, the womb, and being like, hi, are you okay? I love you, you know? Because we can have this like, oh, my uterus and my ovaries suck, like they're not doing what I want kind of mentality. Or we can have the mentality of my uterus and my ovaries and I are all on the same team. And I love my body and I'm listening to my body and to what my body needs in every moment. And how can I send love and compassion to that area? So that's so much of what we do in fertility yoga is like bringing the awareness, bringing attention, bringing circulation to the whole womb space, sending love there. And yeah, being with your body in the present moment, not from this like, I need to get fit kind of way, or I need to work out because I said I was going to work out, but from this like, I love my body and I'm going to move the way that my body wants to move.
And that's so different, isn't it, to so much. I think that, you know, a lot of us can fall into that trap of having this kind of to-do list, like these are the things I should do to get myself as fertile as possible.
Yeah,
And so many of those things aren't listening to your body. They are kind of forcing your body or yourself into things. Whereas actually what we need to be doing is, yeah, like you said, nurturing and nourishing the mother to be. Because if we want to be a mother and we want to be able to care for this new little human, we need to start showing ourselves that kind of care and compassion.
absolutely.
And it's that language that we use, isn't it? If we can start seeing our body as like separate to us but part of us, in the way of, it's not this separate thing that is like, me against my womb. It's like, yeah, me and my womb working together. So talk to us a bit about, if you got any recommendations of how people could sort of start to connect with their womb right now.
Yeah, I mean, the easiest way is to place your left hand over your heart And place your right hand over your womb. And this is because, kind of in yoga, your left hand is your receiving hand and your right hand is your giving hand. And you feel love in your heart. And if you are feeling a little less than self compassionate right now, then you can kind of fill your heart with the love that your family has for you or that you have for your family. And then even visualizing sending that love down to your womb space. So you can do this right now. And you can feel the heat of your right hand over your womb space. Feel your hands moving as you breathe. And connecting to that part of your body. Sending compassion there. Your womb space wants a baby just as much as you do.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So beautiful, isn't it? And it's these little things that was just a few moments in time, but the shift, like it really felt like a shift in, just bringing all of it into that present moment,
Mm-hmm.
and really embracing the fact that you're here right now and you can make yourself feel better. So that phrase of, yeah, what can I do? What would feel really good right now? What
Yeah.
thought can I think to make myself feel better? Asking yourself these questions is so powerful, rather than your mind sort of questioning you with things like, what if I never get pregnant? What if it never happens? Why don't we start trying sooner? Blah, 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 all these different things. Having different questions to ask yourself is such a powerful way to help bring you into the moment. So when we were talking about what we were going to talk about on this podcast, we were talking about people being able to understand that everything is temporary. Could you talk to us a little bit about that?
Yeah, absolutely. So I think when we get into survival mode, which often we get into with the whole fertility journey and infertility, that everything seems permanent, that especially emotional feelings, you might attach a story to them like, this is going to be how I'm going to feel forever. And it's just completely not true. That everything is temporary, and especially your emotions are temporary. And so when you are with your body, emotions have a physical manifestation in your body, right? So there's some kind of signal, some kind of feeling, actual physical feeling in your body that is sending a signal to your brain being like, okay, this is how I'm feeling right now. And then you're attaching this story sometimes of like to that feeling of like, this is how I'm going to feel forever now. And I'm going to be this sad because I'm this sad right now because I don't have a baby. I'm going to be this sad that I don't have a baby forever. And when you can be with your body in each present moment and actually feel the physical sensation of the emotion, and I do kind of this process of visualizing it, the emotional sensation itself, you can see how it shifts moment to moment as you breathe. So it's like, oh, okay, like this is an intense feeling in my throat right now. And I would visualize it as like a kind of like vomit yellow. And then like, oh, 2 minutes later, it's like down in my lower chest, and it feels kind of like turquoise. And it's like, oh, I don't actually feel the exact same in every moment. That was temporary. The feeling in my chest is temporary. Everything that I feel is temporary in my body, in my emotions. And because it's temporary, I can handle it.
Oh, I love it. I love it. This is what is so powerful, isn't it? Because before I started learning about this stuff, it's like your emotions control you. You feel an emotion, and then you're making a decision based on how you feel right in that second. And it's all very much like everything's just sort of happening. Yeah, being able to really step back or step into, actually, isn't it? Because I think that's the thing as well. These techniques aren't about avoiding your emotions. They are
No.
about stepping into and really feeling, because our body experiences emotions to communicate with us, to share things with us. And so by fully embracing them and living through them is the best way to release them as well. So you're feeling it and you're saying, yes, I hear you. Yes, I can feel you. Like, yes, I'm paying attention. And then it's like your body can stop going woohoo woohoo trying to get your attention. It's like, oh, okay, she is paying attention. Oh, okay. Because with a physical pain, like I'm sat on my feet right now and my foot is telling me that I need to shift and move. And with physical pain, we're kind of in the habit of, you feel a physical pain and you pay attention to it, and therefore you do something different. Whereas emotional pain, we can be taught when we're young to just push it down and swallow it. Instead of, it's there, it has a message to tell us to move through it.
Exactly. Yeah. And I mean, like, that's why I named my business Feel Fully, because I have endometriosis, so I do have, you know, physical pain quite often. And whether it's physical pain or emotional pain, being with it in the present without resistance, it completely changes your relationship to the sensation. It stops being negative. It just starts being what it is. And then, as you say, because you're listening to the signals that your body's sending you, and which, maybe you're practicing during your fertility yoga, this like practice of like really listening to your body. Yeah, as you say, like those feelings can dissipate just by being accepted, because yeah, they don't need they don't need to be so intense anymore to get your attention.
And I think it can be like a trait. So yeah, endometriosis is doing the house here as well. I think for me, because periods right from when I was a teenager were painful, that I got so many stories and so much linked in with, um, the whole issue of sort of becoming a woman was very painful, like literally
Mhm.
painful. And so when it then came to wanting to conceive, I had so many stories that I needed to blow apart, so many beliefs about my body that I needed to change, um, in order to really, I suppose, respect my body. Because for years it'd been like, I feel pain, I've got to work, so just taking painkillers was like the standard. Whereas now it can be like, okay, what does my body need? Maybe my body need, well, see, everyone's in lockdown at the minute, so no one's going anywhere. But I then got into the pattern of working out my cycle, and instead of, I wouldn't have like high intensity work days at the beginning, that first week in my cycle. I'd like reschedule things and go, it's a low energy week for just catching up with things and being very gentle with myself. And I
Yeah.
know this is something that you teach as well, is like really working with your cycle. Could you talk to us more about that?
Yeah, absolutely. I love that you mentioned that, because another thing that really came from yoga for fertility was changing my relationship with my period. And I think a lot of people have that kind of aha moment of like, oh, I don't need to like hate
Yeah.
my
What?
my my period, right? Like I don't exactly. I've gone however many years since I was 12, every single month going, oh, I hate my period. And um yeah. And then when you're like, whatever, 31, being like, my period is natural. I'm okay with it. It's like this huge shift. Um, yeah, it's like almost 20 years for me of of hating on it. And um yeah, so yeah, with yoga for fertility, we really want to listen to where we are in our cycle. And so I like to call the part of the cycle when you have your period as the breathe phase, because you can practice yoga if you're just breathing consciously, right? You don't need to be in some kind of twisty pose to practice yoga. And um, yeah, just that reminder to breathe and to be with your body, and to like it's just like more, so much more self-compassionate of like, okay, I'm bleeding heavily, I have, you know, I have like soreness over here, I'm getting like crazy pain pangs over here, like and yeah, so how can I breathe through this? How can I be with my body in a self-compassionate way? And as you say, sometimes that means changing your plans. And we have been, you know, programmed into thinking that we have to keep pushing through during our period. And for people with endometriosis or PCOS, or someone who has like, anyone who has just like really bad periods, it's not the most self-compassionate thing to do, to keep pushing through. I mean, like sometimes I can't even walk when I have my period.
That's the thing.
And
Go on. Yeah. Just saying it's
go
thinking
ahead.
as well is like the same with, it's not just a bad period. It is, it is endometriosis or something that's like so much, to the point of I would nearly faint sometimes. Like I thought times I was going to have to ring A&E and like get an ambulance to come and rescue me because I was in so much pain. But
Mm-hmm.
I still didn't take the day off work. I was like, I literally like lay down like out the back at work. I was like, lay down for a bit, pop some ibuprofen, carry on, because it was so instilled with me. It's like there's no space in our society in work to go like, you know what, I actually just need to go home and lie down. That would just, the idea of saying that in the, I worked in like a mainly male environment when I worked in design, the idea of saying that just wasn't even feasible. Whereas now, hopefully, the conversation is opening up more, that people can say, I really just have to, duvet day, do what I can from home, but I can't keep pushing myself in this way.
Yeah, absolutely. And like, yeah, I had that experience too when I was working at the yoga studio last year, that I went in a couple times and they were like, why are you here? Like, you know, like you don't need to be here. Like you can barely move. You're like sitting on the floor, clutching your knees, like and yeah. And like you said before, which I wanted to mention, um, how can you listen to your body more? So much of that is, where am I in my cycle? And you can wake up asking yourself, what does my body need today? But you can also wake up asking yourself, how can I be self-compassionate today? And on those days where you're not feeling well, whatever it is, sometimes the most self-compassionate thing to do is to do nothing. And yeah, or just breathe, as I say, like just breathe. But yeah, the other ways that you can kind of follow your cycle during fertility yoga. I like the week or so right after your period where your energy is picking up, you're feeling maybe more in your masculine energy of like to-do lists and stuff. That's when I really like to strengthen the pelvic floor, because the pelvic floor should be strengthened before pregnancy. And then around ovulation, I like to add in like a lot of loving, self-compassionate touch. I do this like sun salutation with like running your hands, fingertips down your legs. And it's just like this really feminine, kind of flowy, um, yeah, self-compassionate movement, and a lot of self-massage. And then after ovulation, after you've tried to conceive, recognizing that, okay, I might be pregnant and I'm going to treat my body as though it is pregnant. So, kind of then doing yoga for pregnancy basically during those 2 weeks after, or whatever it is, however your cycle is different, after after ovulation. So a lot of like gentle movements, no really like rough twists or anything. Yeah, really nourishing positions. Like you could, I like to do like, um, I like to do chair yoga during this time because it's just like more gentle. And when yoga studios were open, I was going to like tons of restorative classes, the classes with all of the pillows and everything.
All the props.
Yeah, exactly, all the props. And yeah, so like during that time, just being like, okay, my priority is to calm my nervous system and to be this like, yeah, to be actually my body a nourishing space for conception and implantation.
Love it. And I think it's so lovely as well to start, you know, women, we're cyclical creatures. We're supposed to live in this cycle. And we are all living in this masculine world where men have a cycle, but it's 24 hours. So they don't have these dips, and we're kind of, women can be known as, oh, she's being hormonal and she's being this because of her cycle. And it's like, let's embrace that, because yeah, that first week you can be really like caring for yourself. And then when you go into your ovulation stage, when the creativity comes, and if you're aware of this cycle and can use it to help, with your work and your relationships, that week you're going to have more energy. So that's when you plan stuff rather than just blocking out your diary the whole way through. So
Yes. I just wanted to show this book, The Optimized Woman by Miranda Gray. She's all about, this whole book is just about using your menstrual cycle for different things like that, recognizing when you're on the ball, recognizing when you are creative, recognizing when you want to be more social, and yeah, allowing that cycle of different strengths over the month.
love it.
Mm-hmm.
So how can people find out more about you? Can you tell us? I know you've got an amazing online retreat coming up. Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, so December 7th to 11th, which is, 2 weeks from recording this, I'm having some wonderful experts into my Facebook group. We are talking all about building resilience on your fertility journey, and really building yourself up, surrounding yourself with all of the tools and resources that you need so that you know that you can handle whatever comes your way, and feel really empowered on your fertility journey and feel good now instead of waiting until you get pregnant or you have your baby to feel good about yourself and your life. So it's I'm so excited. We're having Naomi will be there. It's very exciting. Amira Posner, who I mentioned, is going to talk about cultivating hope. Rosie Matheson is going to be there, talking about really shifting your relationship towards your period. We've got so many really amazing guests that are coming in. So you can sign up for that. It's totally free. You can sign up for that at my website, which is feelfully.ca, because I'm in Canada. And yeah, I'm really, really looking forward to it. I'm going to do 2 sessions, and then we've got like 8 or 9 guests coming in. So yay.
Oh, I'm looking forward to it. It's so nice as well to have, that's what I love about the fertility community, is all coaches like coming together. And we've also both joined a like fertility mastermind for the next 12 months, where we're going to be working and collaborating and bringing so many more things to you guys who really, you need this stuff. And there's so much going on that is just free. And then obviously if you need additional support, so talk to us about if someone wanted to work with you, so they could come and do the free retreat, or what are your social media pages as well?
Yeah,
Where
so
can
you
we
can
come and
find
check out?
you can find me on Instagram at feelfully.ca as well. So it's the same as my website. And then my Facebook group is called, well, right now it's called the Resilience Retreat for Empowered Fertility Warriors, but you can always just look up Empowered Fertility Warriors. And yeah, there's lots of great content in there. Even when I'm not doing the retreat, I go live every week. And yeah, as you say, like it is this really great community where there isn't competition between different fertility coaches. It's like, if you want to work with a fertility coach, who do you resonate with? Like, I'm so happy for people to work with you or with my other fertility doula friend, if they're the person that resonates most. But yeah, if you are really resonating with me, yeah, you can connect with me at feelfully.ca or DM me on Instagram. And yeah, I would love to talk to you. Basically, we would meet on a Zoom call and then chat about your fertility journey, where you want to go, if you want to be held accountable to doing any really nourishing self-care techniques that will really build you up, build your resilience during your fertility journey. So yeah, I'd love to chat with anyone.
Fantastic. Well, I'm going to put all of your contact details in the show notes for both the podcast and the video, so people can find you and can follow you on social. I really recommend, if people are on Instagram, for example, because of the algorithm, if you're liking what Simone or I am saying, or any other person you're following, you can go in and star us as someone you want to be getting like all of our posts. So instead of just, occasionally stuff coming up, you can star it and then it will make sure that it's in your feed. And I think that's something's really important with social media, that some people will say it can be really overwhelming, but you can control what you see. So you can set your feed up to just see things that you know are going to be empowering you, know that are going to be lifting you up, rather than kind of dipping in and ending up getting sucked down this kind of rabbit hole of and spending hours on there. You can just like dip in and set up a feed, or set up a group of posts that you know that you can jump in and really feel lifted up by. Fantastic. Thank you so much for coming on today. It was lovely to talk to you again and share you with my listeners, and looking forward to the online retreat. So yes, if people want to go sign up now, that starts on the 7th of December.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. It was really great to talk to you.
Fantastic. And if anyone is new to Embrace Fertility, then please do subscribe, be that on the podcast or on YouTube, and then you will be first to know when the next episode goes live. You can also come over to embracefertility.co.uk and sign up for my freebie. So at the minute, there's a 3-minute reset MP3 and a gratitude video that you can watch, and look forward to hearing how you get on with those.